What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Era TV, the #1 place for building success, independence, and happiness in your legal career. I'm Misty Murray. Thanks so much for stopping by today. So in today's video, I just want to give you some really practical advice to entering the legal industry in today's legal industry, and advice that I would give to my younger self, in addition to advice that I want to give to you guys. And I'm just going to get real with this one. So if you're interested and you're excited about this one, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and consider clicking that bell notification to receive a notification of each time I post a video on here. All right, let's get into this today. So tip #1 is to learn the rules of the game and play the game by the rules. And this was given to me by Lynn Richardson, which if you guys aren't watching her and you're an entrepreneur, you absolutely need to be at least listening to her in the background, but learn the rules of the game. No matter where you are, no matter what law firm you're in, no matter who you're working for, learn the rules of the game. And let me tell you guys, each game is different. Each law firm is different, and you got to play each game differently. So immediately learn the rules of the game and play the game by the rules. And as long as you play the game by the rules, you're good. You're good to go. Keep advancing, keep asking for things, keep learning. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, but every game is different. And if you just learn the rules of the game and play the game by the rules, then it will bode you very well in the legal industry, no matter which law firm you go to. Tip #2, and that is you will catch more bees with honey than you will with vinegar. And I'm sure there are lots of other analogies for that. But what I mean by this is no matter what law firm you go into, there is going to be office politics. It's something that you're going to have to deal with. You are entering into an industry that is naturally competitive by nature. So take that into consideration. But what you've got to do in there is go in there and kill them with kindness, okay? So, walk in there in the morning and maybe get your cup of coffee and go to the receptionist and say hi, and walk into your office manager's office or paralegal manager's office and say hi, and say hi to, the attorneys that you're working for, let them know that you're there, and always be adaptable and approachable and flexible, because people will want to work with you when you are like that. And no matter what, you're going to run into people who are going to be competitive with you, especially if you're working in a defense environment and it's a big corporate environment where you're all really kind of vying for those billable hours. And you're always really competing with each other, because that's the kind of environment that these big corporate law firms just kind of have. And that's something that you have to consider, and whether or not that's the type of personality that you have, and whether or not you're willing to give to that sort of environment. But no matter what, kill them with kindness. If something is wrong with one of your coworkers, if you notice something, then, walk up to that person and say, hey, what's the deal, Pickle? What can I do for you today? That's it. That's all you need, but be flexible, be adaptable, and you will absolutely catch more bees with honey than you will with vinegar. Okay, tip #3 is a big one, and that is do not leave the firm you are happy with for a firm that offers you more money. And I know that is a lot easier said than done. I know we all come from different backgrounds and different situations, and I just can't stress this enough, that your happiness in this industry means so much more in the long run than the money you're going to make in this industry. Because you can go and work for those big, huge corporate firms in those high-rise buildings in New York and LA and Chicago. And I was in one. It was one of those really competitive environments. I had 1,700 billable hours per month that I had to get. Otherwise, I was in big trouble. So it was a naturally competitive nature. However, it paid a lot of money. It paid well what I needed it to pay in order to fully support my family, because my husband didn't have a job at the time. So it was this huge firm that was really competitive, that paid me a lot of money, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I couldn't wait to leave it. And I did. I left it, and it wasn't for a firm that offered me more money. But I knew I was going to be a lot happier there than I was in that big corporate environment. Fast forward, when I left that firm, and I left it for a firm that wasn't in the city, and it was in the suburbs, and I no longer had to take a train. I took a $20,000 pay cut because I knew that I was going to be happier working outside of the city. I wasn't about to take a job that was offering me more money working inside the city, where I knew I was going to be less happy. So going back to that, never, ever, ever take a job that offers you more money and sacrifices your happiness. You have no idea if you're going to be happier at that other firm. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Your happiness in this industry means more. And that brings me to tip number 4, and that is to respect yourself, to walk away from any situation that is no longer serving you, growing you, or making you happy. And again, I know that is so much easier said than done. And I've been in that situation a lot of times where I had no choice but to stay. It wasn't serving me. It wasn't growing me. I wasn't happy, but I was in a circumstance where I couldn't leave. I had to stay because I wasn't ready for, my next move. That was 10 years ago. I'm a lot more stable now, but it happens. I absolutely understand that. But there are very, very toxic firms out there. There are very, very toxic environments and people to work for. And there are attorneys that you will come across that throw the biggest temper tantrums and scream and yell and throw things around. There are law firms and attorneys you will work for that will just get really close to you and talk to you like this and do their best to intimidate you. And you have to deal with those people no matter what. And it's hard, and I understand that. But as soon as you can, and we're gonna talk about this here in a little bit, because this is gonna lead to another point that I have, or another tip that I have. But as soon as you can, respect yourself enough to walk away from a situation that is no longer serving you, growing you, or making you happy. Okay, your happiness means a lot in this industry. This is a long-term career. This isn't something that you're in for the short term. This is long game. So your happiness means a lot in this industry. So that brings me to tip number 5, and that is to take advantage of every single learning opportunity that you possibly can. I cannot stress this enough. And here's why. If you are taking advantage of every single learning opportunity, and you come upon a situation that is no longer serving you, growing you, or making you happy, then you have a better advantage of possibly being able to leave, because you've taken advantage of every single opportunity to grow in this industry. And that's something that I tell paralegals that I'm coaching. You can go through your career, or you can grow through your career. I want to grow through my career. I want to take advantage of every single learning opportunity and grow, because that's the only way that I am going to have that success and independence and happiness in my career. That's what this is. This is my career. I'm in this for the long haul. So take advantage of every single learning opportunity. If your law firm has Westlaw or LexisNexis, you probably have some learning opportunities available to you, and they're free to your law firm. So take advantage of them. If you are part of DRI or AAJ or any sort of local bar association, take advantage of every single one of your learning opportunities. If you have the money and you can, take an online course, go to Skillshare, go to Udemy, go to Thinkific, go to all these places and take advantage of every single learning opportunity. And don't just go through your career, grow through your career. Okay, now we're at tip number 6, and that is to become an expert in all practical skills. Let me tell you what I mean by that. There is a big gap between college and first-time law firm job. And you will learn that. And it's something that I'm working to decrease. I'm working to help sort of bridge that gap. And a lot of people coming out of these programs just didn't feel well educated enough, you know, regarding those practical skills. So practical skills, what are they? You need to be typing at least 65 words per minute, if not more. If you're not typing that speed, go to typingtest.com, spend 20 minutes on that a day, and get your typing speed up. Another practical skill is learning to bill your time. And I've got something in production here. I'm going to spend an entire video on learning to bill your time, not only in-house as a paralegal for a law firm, but as a freelance paralegal as well. Everybody needs to learn how to bill their time. Billing your time is an art. I know that there are a lot of paralegals out there that would absolutely agree with me on this. Billing your time is an art, especially in a defense environment. Even if you're in a plaintiff's environment, a lot of the times you will still have to bill your time, because even for contingency fee cases, attorneys need to know at the end of the game, was it worth it? All the time and all the effort and all the expense that we put into it, was it worth it? It's still a numbers game. And so you need to learn how to bill your time. You need to learn how to bill your time so that it is not construed as clerical time. All right, and again, I will spend an entire new video on that, but on to the next practical skill, and that is proofreading. You have to know how to proofread, guys, and you have to stop relying on Word to teach you how to proofread. But if you do need some help learning how to better proofread, then I really encourage you to download Grammarly. And no, this is not sponsored by Grammarly, but it is something that I use every single day. I use Grammarly. It's free. I don't pay for it. Download Grammarly and start using it, because it will really help not only with the spelling errors, but with your sentence structures. It will help you be a better writer. And so I really encourage you to get with it when it comes to your proofreading, and get with Grammarly if you need it. So the next one is researching. You need to be a great researcher. You need to be immensely resourceful. And researching are one of those 6 pillars, you know, that they sort of teach you in the paralegal education, because you really have to know how to get out there and research cases, research settlements, research verdicts, research experts. You have to know how to be an expert researcher, like private investigator, if you will. So that's one of those practical skills. You really, really need to be resourceful, and you need to be a really good researcher. So of course, the other practical skills are tech. You know, Adobe Pro and Microsoft Suites. Guys, you gotta know those things. Integral, absolutely pivotal to my practice. Every single day, I am using Adobe. Every single day, I am using Word. You have to know how to be an expert formatter, how to proofread, how to convert things to PDF, how to bait stamp, how to add footers, how to do all of that. You really need those techie skills as practical skills. I cannot stress that enough. So those are just a few practical skills in that tip, but there is a huge, gap in those learning those practical skills while you're getting your education. Proofreading and learning Adobe and Word and the typing speed. It's all really, really crucial. And learning to bill your time, there's not a class. You don't take a class, to my knowledge, about learning how to bill your time. That's something that you completely learn on the job. And it's a huge, huge, huge practical skill that you need in order to thrive in this industry, no matter where you go, really. So tip 7 is just kind of a fun one, and that's just to shake it off. No, I don't mean the Taylor Swift song, but I mean that going back to the whole politics thing in the legal industry, and in the office, and the more people you have, the more political it can get. You're going to have to shake that stuff off, guys. There are going to be people who are going to ruffle your feathers. There are going to be those attorneys that are going to be just super dominating and get in your face. And there are going to be paralegals that are super competitive with you and snarky and snotty, and you just got to shake it off. I mean, you just got to shake it off. I don't have any other practical advice or knowledge, but you can't be a hothead in this industry. You have to know your place and shake it off. But if you can, be the peacemaker. And that's what I try to be when I can. I try to be the peacemaker. It doesn't always work that way. And I'm not going to lie. I've had my issues in offices. I've had huge, I mean, like almost physical combat, if you will, issues in law firms before. And it wasn't a good situation. It was bad, but you have to shake it off, because this industry and everyone in it will ruffle your feathers no matter what. I mean, at some point in time, shit's gonna get real, and you just gotta shake it off. Okay, so my last tip is to build a bank of resources. You need to build that bank of resources. Start in your career. This is a long-term game. You will need those resources no matter where you go. So start building that bank of resources right away. Your indexes, case law, motions that you write, discovery that you write, subpoenas that you write. I mean, yeah, you got to maintain all that confidentiality and stuff, and maybe don't bring over all the case information, but maintain a bank of resources. I have indexes out the wazoo for everything. If there's any social media that I've got to subpoena, I know where to go because I built a huge index for it. I've built a bank of indexes for experts because a lot of them, come across my desk in several cases. So build the bank of resources. It will help you immensely throughout your career. Okay, guys, this video is getting a little long in the tooth here, so I don't want to be too ranty, but thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you and everything that you guys do. If you haven't noticed, this channel is now monetized, and it's because of you. Thank you so much. And of course, good luck to you and all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs a super practical, skillful paralegal just like you. Keep going strong, my paralegal bosses. Enjoy the rest of your day, the weekend ahead of you, and I'll see you guys back here on the next one. Mwah! Oh, by the way, don't forget to thumbs up if you like this one, subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell notification to receive a notification of each time I put a video on here. Now, all right, I can tell you guys goodbye now. Mwah! Bye, guys. No. Why can't I say this? Why can't I? No, that's not what I want to say at all. I don't have this one screwed up. I'm in this. Whoopsie. Now. What the fuck was tip number 6?